For today's project, I'm going to work on this. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy this design and make a new knife block for these knives. If you've been following my Instagram, you've probably noticed that this isn't the first time I've done this project. So I'll get to go over some design changes as I've made a couple of these and go through some do's and don'ts and some lessons learned. So this should be a good video. Let's do it. So the first thing we have to do here is take this thing apart because we're going to use this as our stencil to get our shapes down on our pieces. We're going to use the clear pieces as the stencils, and I'm going to gather up all that other stuff. I'm going to take it over here to the trash can, and I'm going to throw that away because we don't need that anymore. Alright, so now we'll get started on milling some wood down for this project. Well, I sliced it in half off camera because, I forgot to hit the record button. Alright, so now I'll take the thin pieces and take them over here to the joiner and get a flat side before I go over to the thickness planer to get the thickness that we're going after. What I'm doing here is I'm feeding a piece of cheap whitewood through there, then I'm feeding my pieces through behind it, and then I'm following it up with another cheap piece of whitewood. And what this does for me is it helps eliminate snipe whenever I use my planer. Alright, now that I got my wood thinned down to the proper thickness or thinness or skinniness, however you want to say it, I'm going to draw my patterns on it and then we'll cut them out. The first couple of these I free-handed my own pattern, but I decided to change it up and actually decided to trace the pattern of the stand that comes with this knife set, and I built one like that, and I really like that a lot better. So this is what I've been going with ever since. Now that we've got them all drawn up, it's slicing and dicing time. Let's get to cutting. For the pieces that's going in the middle, I'm just using regular whitewood. It's real cheap, real soft, easy to work with, but it's going right between those pieces, so there's a really thin strip of it that's going to be noticeable, and all I really want out of this part is for the contrast of the super light coloring. And then at this point, I'm tracing the inside around the knife, and I'm trying to leave a little bit of a gap around the edge of the knife, and particularly the bottom. That way I have a little bit of room for it to wiggle around in there, but not so much room that it becomes a sloppy fit. Just want it to fit just right. Alright, now I'm going to cut up and mill out some pieces for a base for this thing. Then I'm going to use the scrap from all the other cut-offs for a hoop for the slicer. And now I get to glue everything together. In this project there's a lot of stuff to glue together. So this kind of takes some time. This piece right here might raise a question mark, but just hang in there with me and it'll all make sense later. And this is where I use the belt sander to come up with the final shape of all my pieces. Knock off all the glue edges and get everything lined up perfectly to make that nice shape that you see at the end. At this point I'm measuring the slicer to see what size Forstner bit I need to go ahead and start shaping the holder for that.
Vista?
Let's try that again. If you love sanding small parts, this is the project for you. There's plenty of small parts here to sand. The biggest change I've made through making a couple of these is the construction of this. The first couple I did, I made the knife slots a little bit longer so that I could throw a dowel rod through the middle of all of them. And then the side blocks would hold the whole piece down to the block. I've abandoned that idea with this, and instead I used some thicker dowel rods through the bottom of the pieces to hold it to the base instead. The way I was doing it before, I had to use these really thin 1/8 inch dowels to hold it to the base. So this way I'm able to go to a larger dowel and have more glue surface to hold it down to the base. I feel a lot better about this design as far as holding up in the long run. Also, when I shoved the dowel through the pieces, it just wiped the glue off the dowel, and eventually they just started free swinging on the dowel. And then I had to drill a hole in through the back, through the white colored piece I put in the middle, and send another dowel through there to attach to the other dowel to hold everything straight. So it was a real pain to do it the old way. So the way I do it now, it just looks like there's a dowel rod going the whole way through it. And then I'm just going to finish it off with a simple teak oil finish. It's one of my favorite finishes. It's pretty much a brush on, then let it sit for a couple minutes, then wipe it down to wipe the excess off. It's super easy to work with. That's why I like it. Then for the finishing touch, I'm going to screw on some rubber feet. That way it stays still on the countertop. Alright, there we have it. If you like that project, please do me a favor, hit the like button. And if you want to see more projects like this, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. That way it notifies you the next time I upload a video. Until next time, make something awesome.